Hello, everyone. Today is Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. I hope you had a great one, a blessed one, a joyful one. And I came on here to tell you guys a little bit about my mom. I started to go live and do it, but usually when I'm live, I can't focus on the topic that I'm trying to talk about. And then I'm looking at the comments and I'm trying to respond and speak to the people in the comments. So it throws me off track. So I just thought I'd do a little video telling you about my mom, Miriam Marie Adams is her name. She's from Louisiana. She was born in a little town, I believe, Sibley, Louisiana. I've never been, but that's where my mom is from. And she left Louisiana, I think, when she got with her first husband. My mom had a total of 17 children. I am the last one. And what I remember about my mom, I remember her meekness, and she almost seemed like there was an emptiness about her. But I mean, she was not a soft woman by no means. I mean, if it wasn't her fussing at us kids about something we were supposed to be doing, or her being upset about something. Well, she fussed a lot. I would say she fussed a lot when we were kids because one of us was always doing something. But it's like as she got older, she got quieter. And I started paying my mom more attention as I came into adulthood after I had my daughter. And I realized my mom never had a life because all her life she was having babies, baby after baby after baby. And most of her kids are stair steps, like right after the other. So it's like once she started having babies, she didn't stop. I think there's maybe a couple of years break. There's a break in between husbands, in between her first husband and my dad. That was like really the only large gap in a break of her having children. But all I remember was her raising us, working to take care of us. And my dad was in the household until I was 5. My dad left us. I came home from school one day and I remember the living room was empty. I think that sucker, I think he even took the stove. He left our beds. I remember our beds were still there. And I remember saying, "What happened to all the furniture?" And I think my sister had told me that my dad had took it. My dad had left my mom with 5 children. He left my mom to go be with a woman with no kids, whom he later married after my mom divorced him. But as a child, being 5 years old, I didn't understand, relationships or nothing like that. So I didn't understand like what my mom could have been dealing with, as a result of her husband leaving her with 5 children to go, live with another woman. And on top of that, taking the furniture with him too. How dare he really? But he left us, and I don't ever remember him just completely just leaving and being gone. Like I remember him still coming to visit us afterwards. But I don't remember my mom like putting him down to us or being like hurt, or I don't remember her crying. I just remember her going to work. And I think when my dad left her. I think she had started working two jobs. So I just remember her working and, trying to provide for us. And I know he took the furniture. I don't know how long our house was empty, but in my mind, I can't recall us going without for a long period of time because I know it didn't happen immediately, but it seemed like after he left, my mom put back everything, couch, stove, everything. She put back everything he had taken and then some. Maybe he helped her or gave her some money or something. I don't know. But I just remember her replacing everything that he had took. And I remember being happy when my dad left because as I said he was a Muslim. In my mind he was mean and he was crazy because he was so stern and he was like militant, like military like. So, and plus we couldn't celebrate holidays when my mom was with him. So, I would just remember when he left, I was like, we can have Christmas. And we started having Christmases and celebrating holidays. We could have Christmas trees and toys. So, to me, it was a happy time with him gone. But as I think back now about it, it probably wasn't a happy time for my mom. I'm pretty sure it was a hard time for her. But she did the best with what she had. And she rode the bus every day because I think when she was working two jobs, she had a car that my dad had bought her and gave her. But I think and he did leave her with the car. But I think she was going from one job to another and she fell asleep at the wheel and had a wreck. And after that I don't remember her ever driving again. Anywhere she went, someone drove her or she rode the bus. So she rode the bus every day to work. And I knew about what time her bus came to drop her off when she got home in the evening. So the bus dropped her off. The bus wouldn't come up in the neighborhood. It would be like this hill that went down to a main highway before you get to our neighborhood. The bus would let her off at the bottom of this hill, and it was up a steep hill. So I would get on my bicycle every day to go drive my bicycle down the hill to meet my mom when I knew her bus was coming. And I was really going to meet her because I knew she would have some snacks for me in her sacks. Not thinking in my little mind she needs some help, but I would wait for the bus to come and watch her get off the bus, and she would always have sacks. And I would put her sacks on the handlebars of my bicycle and walk up the hill with my mom. And she would be tired, so she would walk kind of slow. But did that for a long time. That's how my mom provided for us. She cleaned homes. She was a housekeeper. She cleaned homes of wealthy people to provide for five children. And I will say that my dad left us and he took everything, but I don't think he stopped. I don't think there was a time when he ever stopped completely, just helping or like support her with us. Even though it was wrong the way he did, how he left my mom. But I think that he still did, like give her things, give her money or whatever to help with us. He wasn't there physically, which I didn't mind at all. But I think he did help her financially after he left us. But I just remember my mom just working, taking care of us kids. And I think she wore those support hose so she would come home and sit down and she would get one of us to take her stockings off because she would be too tired to take them off. And so now it amazes me the strength that my mom had, how she was able to provide for us five kids, making so little money, and how she was able to put everything back in that house that my dad took. And so that was her life, just raising us and taking care of us. And I remember my older sisters and brothers that I grew up with, they were all athletic and participated in extracurricular activities at school. I was total opposite. I didn't want, I barely wanted to go to school, so I didn't want to have to do nothing extra. Just make it and get out of there. But I remember I could sing as a young girl. I could sing, and I was in the chorus in middle school, and we had to have these vests. And I remember my mom didn't have the money to buy me a vest. We had to have these red vests because we had some. I don't know if it was a competition that was coming up, but it was something that we had to sing at. It might have been we had to sing at a mall, but we all had to have on these red vests. And I remember my mom, she was an excellent seamstress, and she had some red material, and she made my vest. And I was so proud of that vest, y'all. To me, I had the best looking vest because my mom made it. And to me, it looked better than all the other kids' vests, who had parents, who could afford to buy them vests. And so she was very crafty. And I remember every year I got an Easter basket, but there was one year she didn't give me a store bought basket. She made my basket herself, and she put just about everything I wanted in that basket. And after that, I didn't want another basket that was, already made in the store. I wanted her to make my basket every year, but I don't think she did. But that was the best Easter basket that I ever had. And then growing up, after us kids got grown and left the house, my mom was helping us take care of our kids. I had my daughter. By then, I had my daughter. And my mom had me when she was 40 years old. I had my daughter at a young age, and I was kind of wow. I didn't have any concept of what being a mother was. All I knew was I got a baby, so that means I'm grown. I thought me having a baby meant I was grown and I could do what I wanted to do. That's the only thing I thought. So I wanted to go out and party and everything, and I really gave my mom a hard time. And finally, she told me, "I've thrown my hands up with you. Stop taking that baby out in those streets and leave her here." So she started keeping my daughter when I would go out because before then, my sister, Fatima, the one who recently passed away, she would always keep my daughter, but I think she had left and moved to Terrell. And so as I got older, it's almost like I grew up with my daughter. I just, I started to appreciate my mom. As the older I got, the more I learned to appreciate her. And then I started to do things, that my mom didn't get to do. My mom never went out. She never went to a party. She didn't drink. She didn't smoke. And I remember wanting her to go out just so I could do stuff that I wanted to do because other kids' mom went out. I was like, she needs to go out, get out this house so I can invite my boyfriend over while she's gone. Yep, that's why I wanted her to go out. But no, I don't remember her having, friends like girlfriends or nothing to come to the house. And that's kind of where I think me being alone, I think that's where that comes from. Because that's how my mom was. If it wasn't something to do with her kids, her family, she wasn't doing anything. She was either working uh, or taking care of her kids or doing something that had to do with providing for her kids, like going to the grocery store or something like that. And so when my mom got older and got sick and ended up, we had to make the decision to place her in the nursing home facility. I started thinking, my mom never had a life. My mom never went on a trip. Her life was taking care of us. And although she fussed at us, well, when she was well within her rights because of whatever we was doing at the time, I never heard her complain about missing out missing out on anything in life because of us. And so when she got sick and wasn't able to walk or anything anymore, I just thought about so many things that my mom missed out on just for the sake of raising her children. And my mom was a great mom, but there were things I think that she dealt with silently from in her past from Louisiana that she never talked about. So I think she was hurting too behind those things. Because I remember seeing a note. My mom had the most beautiful handwriting. I remember I learned how to write just like her. And when I would skip school, I would write my own absentee letters and sign her name. I could mimic her handwriting just perfect. But I remember seeing a note that she wrote on this table, and it said, "Tormented past, uncertain future." At the time, I didn't know what that meant, but it stuck in my brain. I can still see it to this day. And so I think whatever it was that my mom went through in Louisiana in her childhood, she pushed it to the back of her mind and she raised her children. She did it to the best of her ability. She wasn't the perfect mom, but she was the perfect mom to me. And I said, with all the kids she had, and me just having one child, she ran circles around me. I couldn't compare to my mom in no way, shape, or form. And I always referred to her as my superwoman. She will always be my superwoman. So this video is to give tribute to my mom, even though she's not here anymore. And I did, before she passed, I did thank her. And one Mother's Day, after I started settling down a little bit, I had got into church and we had invited our mothers to church for Mother's Day. And you could get up and say things to your mom. So I got up and spoke to my mom. And I apologized to her for all the trouble that I had given her as a teenager, as a teenage mom, as a young woman just wanting to be grown. So I apologized to my mom and I thanked her for the sacrifices she made for me and my siblings. So that's my mom. So, like I said, she wasn't able to have a life other than taking care of her kids, which I never heard her complain about. But hopefully now she's having life after life in paradise, a joyful, happy life. So, my mom, my superwoman, Miriam Marie Adams. Love her. And to all the other mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Y'all continue to stay safe. Peace, blessings. Love you.